Hello students, welcome to tutoringcluster.com. So in this video, we are going to talk about boilers, which are also called as steam generators. Okay, now first thing, let me tell you, this is a very big topic actually, right? So in this video, I will be talking about only exam point of view. So whatever points you should know about boilers for your exam point of view. So I am going to discuss those points only. So it will be a short video, 15 to 20 minutes maximum. And I will be trying to cover all the important points related to boilers or steam generators. Okay, so just give you an idea. So how basically the boiler looks. So this is a picture of boiler. Okay, so if you are new to my YouTube channel, you can subscribe and you can also join us on Telegram. So I will be sharing these pictures with you on the Telegram channel. So we are not going to see all the details. We will, as I told, we will be discussing only the points which are related to exams for your INSEM exam, right? So you can get all these colorful pictures on the internet. If you are really interested, you can go and read a lot about boilers. Lot of information is available. So that is from your side, right? So that you can do. So this is the actual picture basically, right? And this is different parts of Babcock and Wilcox boiler. Okay. Okay. So let us see now what points you should know. Right. So first is okay. So let us see what are boilers. So as I told, these are also called as steam generators, right? So steam generator means which is going to produce a steam, right? So basically, what is this? These are basically a closed pressure vessel, closed pressure vessel, which is used to produce a steam. Now, obviously, steam, we are going to get it by heating the water. So what is happening inside the boiler? Let us understand. So you are having a boiler. What is happening inside this? So basically this boiler, basically it is made up of steel. Okay. And in case of boiler, basically we are supplying the fuel. So you are having here chemical energy. So basically chemical energy of fuel is converted into heat energy. So by burning the fuel, you are going to burn this. That means combustion of fuel inside the boiler. So what you are going to produce? There will be flue gases. These flue gases will be used to heat the water. Okay, and if you are heating the water, you are going to get a steam. So this is basically a simple structure that what is happening basically inside the boiler. Okay, so quickly let us see. So you are supplying the fuel. Okay, so combustion of fuel is going to take place. So what you are going to produce? There will be flue gases. These flue gases will transfer their heat energy to the water. So we are heating the water and as a result, you are going to get a steam. So what are boilers? These are the closed pressure vessels. Basically, these are used to produce a steam, right? Okay. Now, there are different ways to classify the boiler. Let us discuss that. Okay. So important point, second you have to remember, classification of boilers. Classification of boilers. Okay. So first classification. So basically it is based on relative position of water and flue gases. Relative position of water and flue gases. So we have discussed in previous slide what are flue gases. So by burning the fuel, you are going to get it right. So this can be classified as fire tube boiler, fire tube boilers, and water tube boilers, water tube boilers. So if you have seen my previous video, MCQs, part number 2, in detail I have explained what are fire tube boilers and water tube boilers. Still for your information, we will see it quickly. So you are having a tube. Let's say inside the tubes, you are having a flue gases. Okay. And outside the tube, you are having a water. So what is flowing through the tubes? Flue gases. These are the flue gases. Okay. And this is what? This is the water. So water is surrounding the flue gases. That's why these are called as fire tube boiler. What are the examples of fire tube boiler? We have already discussed in previous videos. So basically a Cochrane boiler you have to remember. Okay. Next is water tube boilers. So let's say again you are having a tube. It will be reverse of it. So inside the tube there is water, and outside the tube there will be flue gases. Okay. So these are the flue gases, and inside there is a water. So such type of arrangement, that means water is inside, water is flowing through the tubes, and outside there is a flue gases. So what is the example of this? The example of water tube boiler is Babcock and Wilcox boiler. Okay, so this is the first way of classification. Now let us see the second way. Second way, it is based on a pressure of steam generated. Based on pressure of steam generated. So this can be classified as high pressure boiler, and second you have to remember low pressure boiler. So if the pressure of steam produced, if it is less than 20 bar, it will be considered as low pressure, and if it is more than 20 bar, it is going to consider as high pressure. So what are the examples? So Babcock and Wilcox, it is an example of high pressure boiler, while a Cochrane boiler, it is the low pressure boiler. Okay. Now third way of classification is based on position of axis of boiler. Position of axis of boiler. So again, these are classified into vertical boiler, or it can be horizontal boiler. Now, what do you mean by vertical? That means axis of boiler, it is vertical. Okay, simple. And if the axis is horizontal, it is going to be horizontal boiler. Okay, nothing, not much conceptual, right? It's a simple one. So example of vertical boiler you have to remember is a Cochrane boiler, and horizontal, it is a Babcock and Wilcox boiler. Okay, you have to remember the example of which, because sometimes in the exam you will get that, let's say Babcock and Wilcox boiler is. So options will be high pressure and vertical boiler, high pressure and horizontal boiler. So such type of options will be. So better you remember the classification, at least one example of which. That is more than enough. And the fourth way of classifying the boiler, it is based on position of furnace. Based on position of furnace. Now furnace, what is the function of furnace? We have to burning of fuel is going to take place, right? So due to burning of fuel only, you are having a flue gases. That flue gases you are using to heat the water, and you are getting this steam. So combustion of fuel, basically it takes place inside the furnace. Okay. Now, so if the furnace, let's say it is located inside the boiler, then the boilers are called as internally fired boilers. Okay, very simple. And let's say if furnace are located outside of boiler shell, then we are going to call it as externally fired boilers. Externally fired boilers. Is it clear? Okay. Now, what are the examples of this? Again, as I told, examples are important. So internally fired boiler, the Cochrane boiler, it is an internally fired boiler, and a Babcock and Wilcox boiler. This is externally fired. See, there are other boilers also. Stirling boiler is there, locomotive boiler is there, but Cochrane and Babcock Wilcox are important from exam point of view. Okay, so hope the classification is clear to everyone. So quickly we will revise this. So first classification based on relative position of water and flue gases, fire tube boiler and water tube boiler. Then the next is based on pressure of steam generated, high pressure and low pressure boiler. Then, so remember the pressure range. If it is less than 20 bar, steam produced. If it is less than 20 bar, it is considered as low pressure boiler. And above 20 bar, high pressure boiler. Then, based on position of axis of boiler, it can be vertical and horizontal. If axis is vertical, then vertical boiler, right? Okay, and the last is based on position of furnace. So internally fired boiler, if furnace is inside the boiler shell, externally fired boiler, if the furnace is outside the boiler shell. Okay, and please remember the example. Now, the last important points you have to remember is, so just quickly we will see, so this is how the Babcock and Wilcox boiler looks like, right? So if you see the axis, basically axis is what? Axis is what here? Babcock and Wilcox boiler, axis is horizontal. So it is a horizontal boiler, right? Then this is a high pressure boiler. Okay, it is a high pressure boiler. Then next you have to consider that, so basically where is furnace? This is the furnace. So furnace is located outside the boiler shell. This is your boiler shell, right? So that's why it is considered externally fired boiler, right? Then through this tube, water is flowing, and this is the red color. Red color, you can see these are the flue gases. Okay, red color, these are the flue gases, right? So basically, these are what? This is the water tube boiler, right? So okay, now the next thing, let us see. This is a Cochrane boiler. Now, what are the Cochrane boilers? Basically, this is a vertical. You can see the axis. It is a vertical, right? Then furnace is inside the boiler shell, so that's why these are internally fired. Okay, and this is a low pressure boiler, right? Okay. The next thing. So this is basically a Cochrane boiler. Okay, I am going to share these pictures on the Telegram channel. You can join us on Telegram channel, as well as you can find us on Facebook. Okay, and if you are new to my YouTube channel, please do like and subscribe. Also share with your friends. Okay, so that they will also get benefited with this. So this is totally exam point of view video. Okay, I'm not talking in detail what is how the Cochrane boiler is constructed and all those things. Okay, if you are really interested, you can find that on internet. So this all the things you should know about the boilers. Okay, so now the last point you should know is the difference between water tube boiler and fire tube boiler. Now this is very important. Okay, so let me make the two column. So in the first, fire tube boilers, and the second column, water tube boilers. So hope you are getting what are boilers, what are these different types. Okay. Now the first point, it is based on construction point of view, right? So basically in fire tube boiler, hot flue gases flow. Okay, let me draw this line. Okay, right. So basically hot flue gases flow in the tubes, and these tubes basically these are surrounded by water, right? So we have seen the construction. Now, what is happening in water tube boiler? Reverse of it. So basically, you are having water flows in the tubes, surrounded by, yes, surrounded by flue gases. Flue gases, right? Okay. Then second point, So basically fire tube boiler, these are basically a low pressure boiler. So the pressure range, it is up to 20 bar pressure. Okay, due to it has a drum diameter is large, so that's why the pressure is less. And water tube boiler, because of the smaller drum diameter, it can withstand to high pressures. So even up to 200 bar pressure, they can easily sustain. Right. So this is about a pressure range. Then third point you have to remember is, so fire tube boilers, these are basically a simple and rigid in construction with low initial cost, but maintenance cost, operation cost is high. Okay, maintenance cost is high. Okay, now, so reverse of this will be for water tube boiler. So basically, water tube boilers, these are complex in design. Complex in design, you have already seen the pictures of it. Okay, so these are little bit complex. They are having high initial cost, but their maintenance cost is less. Okay, maintenance cost is less. Okay, so these are the points you have to remember. The next point is the floor area required basically. Okay, floor means how much space is going to occupy by them. So fire to boilers, it requires less floor area. Okay, because mostly the axis, Cochrane boiler you are saying, the axis is vertical, so it is going to occupy the less floor. But okay, but in case of Babcock and Wilcox boiler, okay, I will again share the, let's say, okay, see, it is going to occupy the less space. But if you see, okay, so Babcock and Wilcox boiler, it is going to require a much space, right? So that's why the points we are including less floor area, and these are going to require more floor area. Okay, so hope you are getting these points. The fifth point you have to remember about fire tube boiler is the transportation and installation of these boilers are difficult. Transportation and installation is difficult. Now, why difficult? First thing, they are having a larger drum diameter. Okay, they are having large size of shell. So that's why transportation are difficult. Okay, but water tube boiler, you can easily transport that various part in dismantled form, and you can reassemble it onto the site. Okay, wherever it is required, you can again do the assembly of it. Okay, so that's why water tube boilers are easy to transport and install. Okay, because its various parts can be dismantled and you can do the reassembly at the site. So reassembly at site is possible, right? So these are some important points you have to remember, and examples, number of times we have already seen. Example, you have to remember a Cochrane boiler. Okay, so basically Cochrane boiler, it is what? It is a fire tube boiler, or a locomotive boiler. It is also a fire tube, right? Then you are having water tube boilers. So examples of water tube boiler is what? Babcock and Wilcox boiler. Okay, or Stirling boiler. Okay, so hope you have understood the different, what are the major differences between the fire tube boiler and water tube boiler. Okay, so Babcock Wilcox, and let me note down Stirling boiler. So these are some important points you have to remember regarding fire tube and water tube boilers. So hope you have understood this. Now the next point and the last one. So it is about what are packaged boiler. So this is also one terminologies. So you should know this basically. What are packaged boiler basically? So these are used basically in paper, chemical, pharmaceutical industries. Okay, now applications of boilers, I think you know. So wherever steam is going to required, there you can have the boiler. Okay, it can be in power plant or for process or space heating. Okay, it has many n number of industrial applications. Now when we talk of package boiler, so it is a package of everything. That means it has self-contained unit. It has a it is basically a self-contained unit. Okay, so basically these are used in paper or chemical or pharmaceutical industries, pharma industries. Okay, so basically these are used for the where the requirement is of low pressure requirement is there. So there you can have the packaged boiler. Okay, so capacity of this it is around 50 tons per hour, and if you talk of a pressure, basically it is up to 20 bar. Okay, so these are the so name suggests it's a package of everything, right? So it can be obviously it can be either fire tube or water tube boiler, no doubt in that. So basically the fuel which is used by the package boiler, you can use oil, and nowadays it also uses a coal or wood as a fuel. Okay, but oil, this is important one. So basically package boiler, it uses the oil as a fuel, right? And the last point is about what are boiler mountings and boiler accessories. So this point I have already discussed in MCQ part 2. So if you have not watched multiple choice questions on unit number 2, in part 2 I'm explaining this, what are mountings, what are accessories, what are the different boiler mountings you should know, what are the different accessories. So basically mountings are necessary devices. Okay, so these are required for safety and good control. Okay, so boiler mountings are necessary devices which are mounted on the boiler for its safety and its control. So we are having water level indicator, pressure gauge, safety valve, fusible plug is there. We have also solved some MCQs on mountings. So there I have already explained. And accessories, basically it increases the efficiency of the boiler. You are having a superheater, okay, economizer is there, air preheater. So these are the differences between boilers and mountings. So hope you have understood all the necessary information regarding boilers. So please do like and subscribe my YouTube channel, and please don't forget to share with your friends. These are more than enough. Okay. So I have tried to give all the important points regarding boilers. Okay, what are boilers? How the process takes place inside the boilers? Classification is important, and the difference between water tube and fire tube boiler. And again, I am telling you, please remember the examples. Okay, in the exam you can expect such type of question. Okay, so which of the following is a fire tube boiler? Okay, such type of question can be there. Or Lancashire boiler is what? So even such type of question can be there. So you please go and watch what kind of MCQs can be asked in part number 2. I have explained you in detail, right? So these are the things you should know about the boilers, right? So thank you everyone.